think when you get big personalities like this on the island, and these are all winners, I don't know. I don't think Tony's gonna make it past the merge. I wish, I pray, I beg you other Survivors players to let him get past the merge. Please. I don't think he is. Realistically, I don't think he has a shot. I hope he does, but I don't think he will. Never in my entire life have I been more happy to be wrong. All hail the new king of Survivor. Hello everybody, I am the Survivor Dude, and it has happened! Tony Vlachos, the man with the Spy Shack, Tony Vlachos, the crazy whack job, the amazing madman, has won Survivor Winners at War. It is impossible! It is crazy! It has happened! It happened, guys! It happened! And I am going to talk all about how it happened. So, the first thing that I want to say to get right off the bat, I want to say congratulations to everybody who got it to the end. You know what? I had myself sweating a little bit because I said, as I said that about Tony at the beginning of the season, this is what I said about Michelle at the beginning of the season. If there's any person who I pegged at the very beginning of the season that has a 0% chance of winning, I'd say Michelle. And if she wins this season, and that comment's going to kick me in the butt, but I don't think so, because Michelle, I don't think, has the desire for the bigger moves. She moves with the game. That's her. She's kind of like Sandra in that way, where she moves where the game's going. She's not someone that puts a wall up and forces the game to go her way. Yeah, so I was thinking maybe that prediction was going to come bite me in the butt, but as the episode was going on and everything, and I want to talk about this all, but I want to say first off, congratulations to everyone who made it. You did a great job. Natalie, look, I wasn't a big fan of the Edge of Extinction twist. You were one of the people that I was hoping to, come back, because I think you did a great job. I think you did as much of it as you could, but I don't think I think Tony still earned this win. Michelle, what can I say? I'm still one of those people who probably thinks Aubrey should have won, but I think I've seen a lot of your gameplay here to think that you did do a lot and you earned your win. I might have preferred someone over you, but that doesn't mean you didn't earn your win. Here's what I want to say. What were you doing, Sarah? Now, here, I want to say this also. Sarah, you played an amazing game. You did. Your social stuff was off the charts. Everybody was friends with you. Even when they wanted to come after Tony, they didn't come after you when Tony wasn't available. So you did a great job in that. But you had a bad final episode. I think Sarah really lost the game in this episode, and it was all because of her decisions. Number one, her first mistake. No, Tony. Natalie doesn't have an idol. She doesn't. What do you think they've been spending all these fire tokens on? Seriously, Sarah? There was a 0 possibility she could have got it? She's like, I've gotten to know Natalie so well over 3 days that I definitely would know if she had an idol or not. Well, no! And it was just like, I feel like Tony, you know how we've been yelling at these people sometimes, like, why are you going to the end of the Tony? Are you blind? I feel like he was the only person trying to tell these blind people, like, let's split the votes. Denise isn't going to do anything. There's no reason not to. 2 and 2. It's easy. Easy as pie. Why didn't they do it? And I don't think there's any real strategic reason about this. Now, Ben, I expected him to be dumb and be like, oh, I don't want to do it. I don't want to hurt Denise's feelings. I'm fine. Yeah, Ben, I don't think any less of you than I did before, because I didn't think that much of you to begin with. But Sarah, come on! You gotta admit there should have been at least a little chance. But it didn't end, her bad decisions didn't end there. I mean, think about it. let's say they do that move. That move is still wrong. But then when she voted out Ben, I was dumbfounded. Tony, they snuffed out the vote. They figured out where it was going. They got it on Michelle. Michelle was gonna be going home, and then Ben goes. And I don't get how Sarah doesn't see how this is putting her game in jeopardy. Think about it. With Michelle gone, you got Tony, who's probably gonna take Sarah. You got Ben, who's probably going to take Sarah. Natalie, who probably will want to get rid of Tony, so she's going to put Ben against Tony. So she's safe. She's in the finals in that scenario. And if the worst case scenario did that Natalie played her idol right, then Ben would have gone home. So voting with everybody else would have just been the right decision to make. But because she didn't do that, she voted out Ben to make a move against that's separate from Tony. Look, when Tony did it, it was a good strategic move. When you did it, it wrecked your game. I still don't want to say, I don't want anyone to think that I think Sarah is a horrible player. I think she was probably the second best player this season. And I hold that, and I hold her in high regard. But I was yelling at the TV screen with a bunch of stuff because she put a lot in jeopardy. And all of her game in jeopardy. I want to talk about Tony because, like, every time there was a bad decision, he was on the opposite end of it, you know? He was, like, voting with Ben to vote off Michelle. He had it right. His instincts were right. Sarah has not always the best instinct. She has good social play, but he doesn't have always the best strategic instinct. And and because of that, I think it put Tony in a very precarious position where he had to go up against fire. Now, here's the thing that I want to say. I don't feel like this fire making challenge is going to be as bad of a thing as, let's say, Ben winning fire. Or Wendell winning fire. The reason I don't think it is as bad is because I think it was probably going to be going to the fire-making challenge anyway. I mean, let's put it into perspective. Let's say if she doesn't vote out Ben, she votes off Michelle, then it's Ben, Natalie, and Sarah, and Tony. That means either Ben wins or Michelle wins. I mean, Natalie wins, sorry. Either Ben wins or Natalie wins. Now, if Natalie still wins, she's probably now wanting to still take out Tony, so what does she do? She'll put Ben, who's won the fire-making challenge, against Tony. That's what she'll want to do. Now, if Ben wins, he's probably going to want to put the big threats against each other too, so he will put Natalie versus Tony. So I think that no matter what, it was still going to a fire-making challenge because I think Sarah has Tony's back. I think Sarah wanted to... So I think that no matter what, it was probably going to fire anyway. I mean, I don't know. Maybe Sarah gets her senses a hold of her and goes to the end with Ben and Natalie. Maybe that happens. But I feel like it was going to be going to a fire-making challenge anyway. And I also kind of feel like the Edge of Extinction and the fire-making twist canceled each other out. You know, because of the Edge of Extinction, we got Natalie that threw everything out of the works. The original Final Three that was going to the end didn't. But also, because of the fire-making twist, Tony still got to the end. So, you know what? I don't want anyone to say that Tony didn't earn his win. He did. He won this game, and he deserved to win this game. And honestly, I'm going to say it right here, right now. Tony Vlachos is my new favorite Survivor player of all time. Yeah. I don't even know if I had a specific favorite before. Like, I liked Spencer a lot. I liked Boston Rob a lot. I liked, a lot of other players. But Tony here, it's just, he's such everything. He's everything, He is an amazing character. He does amazing fun things. He does such good social play with people now. And also, he does the idols, but he acts so emotional to this thing. That final scene where he and Sarah had to fire contest against each other, and he's just breaking down, crying. I saw like one thing on Reddit where someone say how ironic we go from Tony like clapping when Sarah was voted out to like breaking down in this season. But I think it's just because Tony's just such an emotional person, you know? And it's been 6 years since then. Their relationship has obviously gotten deeper. And it's just the fact that they have been able to get all the way to the end. Who else noticed that the flags were red and blue? Now, I know those were the buffs, but did anyone else get a feel like these are cop sirens? You know, one is the red, one is the blue. The red and blue, the red and blue going at each other. It was crazy. Now, for all those who voted, I want to say a few things. One, Parvati, remember that time when in the Cagayan finale where Jeff Probst went up to you and he said, hey, Wu and Tony in the finals, who are you going to vote for? She goes, I would vote for Tony. Why didn't you do that this time when you actually had a chance? I know everyone was she'd never even had a chance to play with Tony, but it doesn't matter. Recognize the gameplay. Tony should have gotten all the votes. It's just so crazy that he was never voted out. He was never voted out once. Didn't even receive a vote. Even though he's put in the final fire-making challenge, but he didn't receive a vote this whole time. And I had him as probably one of the highest targets out of anybody. I thought there was no way he would have a chance to even go on this journey, but he played his butt off and he won. Tony won the $2 million. He deserved it. He played his butt off. I think that if anyone starts to say, well, Michelle, at the very least, didn't have to make fire or anything, screw that. She also didn't do most of the votes. Now, I want to talk a few things about the structure of this. Because did anybody else feel like the final tribal council was so rushed? I mean, how many people didn't even get to say anything? Sophie didn't say anything. I think Danny said one thing. I think that we also had, what else? Who else didn't say? Wendell, I don't think got to really say much. Maybe he did. Maybe a little thing. I don't know. But it's like, there were so many people there. That's why I don't like the Edge of Extinction jury thing, because there's so many people. I mean, yeah. But I did like how Tony had everyone laughing. He always got them going. He probably had a better performance here. But I feel like we're missing so much. I feel like one of the things that you don't get out of this type of... Don't get me wrong, I like this type of tribal count, the way they have it set it up now. But one thing you don't get is those moments like... Not to keep it on Tony, but Trish and Tony in the final tribal council. You know, you don't get those moments anymore. It's all just more blah out there. But the fact that we didn't hear Sarah get to say a single thing throughout this entire tribal council is ridiculous. We didn't even get to see her confessional where she voted Tony. No, they had the biggest, strongest 2-0 the entire game. And then she doesn't even get a word in the final tribal count. Look, I might have been upset with her moves, but that doesn't mean she didn't play her butt off this season and earns at least a few sentences. I want to look at Ben, what he did, because what is wrong with you, Ben? I mean, I get that Ben probably realized that he wasn't winning this game. I get that. And that's a hard thing to come to grips with. I mean, the only people who I've really feel like they've come to grips that they couldn't win the game are like Sugar in Gabon. She was like, I'm going to lose no matter what, so I just want the good people to get to the end. I feel it's so weird because I feel like Ben knew his time was up and just held himself up to Sarah on a silver platter, but come on, you gotta try, man. You gotta try to make it to the end. Never make yourself just like, no, that move. It just frustrated me that, look, I was cheering for Tony the whole time, and it frustrated me that he always knew what the right move was and always had everything paid perfectly, and he couldn't get anyone to go along with him. Now, true, it was the right move for him, I mean, Natalie, you gotta give it to her. She played her butt off with the limited time she had. She did a great job. She got Sarah to flip and vote out Ben, but I think there was more Ben who got her to flip. I think that she got 2 idols. Once again, if they just split the vote, they wouldn't have needed those. She wouldn't have been able to get them, is what I mean. Or at the very least, Tony would have had one and been able to protect himself and Ben. I guess I would have put Sarah in the spotlight. But anyways, jury stuff. Anyone else from here? I think part of me wants to say that Jeremy is a little bitter because, you know, come on. You got played by Tony and you're going to really be bitter about it. But also on the same pad, I'm like, yeah, but he's also really close friends with Natalie, so him voting for Natalie is... It'd be like me getting to the end, or getting on the jury, and one of my best friends is up there, but there's also a guy who I think did better than that friend. You know, I might be like, well, I'll still vote for my friend because I'm more loyal to them in real life. What else do I have to say? What else is there to say? I'm disappointed that we didn't get a reunion show. That would have been nice. I know why they didn't do it, as they didn't want to have everyone in a Zoom meeting and then Tyson flipping everybody off while, you know, you can't censor me. You know, it's like, but I really miss that. It's going to be something that I miss. Unfortunately for me, I got to spoil this for myself a little bit. Because I don't have television right now, so I have to watch it the next day, and it took forever for them to upload this. But I was just sitting around, and I was getting my winter tires changed, and I took them in, and I went there, and I wanted to hear a certain parody song from the Wandoff. There was a Tony Vlachos song, so I put in Tony, and the first thing that come up is like, Tony Vlachos, winner of the Ultimate Season. I'm like, ah! I turned it off, and so I kind of knew. But... So I don't know how much on pins and needles everybody else was. I accidentally spoiled it for myself, which sucks. Because I tried so hard to stay away, but anyways. Now, is Tony the greatest Survivor player of all time? Here's the thing. Here's the difference between a Tony win and a Sandra win. Sandra is a much less flashier player. See, you know, when Sandra plays, she's like just off in the shadows a little bit. Anybody but me, it's all right, it's all good, and then you forget about her, and by the time you realize she's at the end, it's too late to do anything about it. Or you underestimate her and you don't do anything about it because you're an idiot. But for Tony, how he got himself under the radar, despite being one of the most dominant players ever, like, I put him as a high target rating on my original cast assessment because I figured he was going to go sooner or later. But it wasn't sooner or later. He never left. He never went on the edge of extinction, never received a vote. He won 4 immunity challenge, 1 away from tying the record. Tony Vlachos. Now... So, is he the best Survivor player of all time? It's so hard. Because really, what we would need is a time machine. That's really what we would need. Go back in time to when these first players first started, and put them all in there, no memory of each other, no nothing, no previous relationships. But then again, you know, people mature and change as they grow older, so I don't know. He's my favorite Survivor player, that's for sure. He's my favorite. I loved his win. He was the only one that I think really got to play dominantly this season. Like, you know, there was times where, like, Sophie was in control and in a good spot, but I think Tony took control of the game. He was at a time where everyone thought he was part of his group, and even when he was backstab you, he'd convince you that he was going with you this next time. It was a dominant win. It was on a season that usually all-star seasons are hard to be dominant. It's, you know, it's not that easy. And this was all winners, and he was able to do it and able to win and come across with a win. And it was an amazing episode. I gotta say, going back to that fire, I'm all over the place, but that's okay. Going back to that fire making challenge, that hit me so hard. Just the way he was so broken up about not being able to take Sarah to the end. And it was close. It was close. There was like a few moments where if I didn't accidentally spoil it for myself, I would have thought that Sarah could win. But Tony won, and he earned it. Now, if there's anybody else out there that says, Natalie was there because of the edge, Tony was there because of the fire-making twist, Michelle is the only person that survived everything, it's because she was never going to win. In my first cast assessment video, I said Michelle had a chance to make it to the end, but I don't think she has a chance to win. She didn't get a vote, guys. And it's not that she didn't get a vote because she wasn't an amazing person or amazing, she was a good player. She was just outmatched. She was fun. I've got to say, I enjoyed Michelle this season. I didn't really enjoy her that much in Co Wrong, but she was a lot of fun this season. And she wasn't dumb. She wasn't dumb. There was moments where she knew what was up and other players didn't. Like, where she's like, you told Sarah you had an idol? That's probably not, they're going to be coming after me now. And they were, except Sarah made a dumb decision. Thanks to Ben. But, you know, there was times where I feel like she was playing smart and she was playing good, except she never was able to take control of the game. And that's the thing. Michelle is a much like a Sandra type player. You know, she pushes it to other people. She tried to get out Tony, but it was too little too late. She never took a moment to take control of the game. I'm not sure if a player like Michelle could. I mean, okay, that's not true. I just don't think she could. That's not her style, and that's why she made it to the end, but didn't win. You know, if we didn't have the edge of extinction this season, I think a few things would have been different. I think Tony and Sarah and Ben are probably the final three, if you also don't have the fire-making twist. I think that Tony still wins. And I think we would have had more time to process everything and get more information. We wouldn't have had to take, like, I timed it today. I looked at the clock. It was like 17 minutes of Edge of Extinction. 17. Maybe it was less, but it was like we could have used all that time better. I think this season could have been one of the greatest of all time if it was managed better and if we did a couple of things differently. But I think this is a frustrating season with a very positive outcome. You know? We still have a great winner. We still have a winner who had great gameplay and great strategic play all throughout. We still had good competition as well. You know, Kim, Jeremy, they were in it for a bit. We still had good play by all. I want to say that this has been a good journey with me. I'm not sure if I'll be back for the next Survivor season. I hope so. It's just I have other videos to work up on my Laser Dude channel, but I want to make sure that I still keep this channel going a little bit. Maybe I'll do top 10 best Survivor videos or something. We'll see. Anyways, yeah, I really don't have much else to say. Tony played the best this season. He earned his victory. Emotional episode. It was good. Thanks for watching, everybody. And I hope that once this is all over with the coronavirus, maybe we can do a reunion episode or something with Survivor where you get all these people to talk about what happened during the season, because without the finale episode, I feel like there's a part missing. Anyways, thanks for watching. Bye.